All right, we're live. Hi, Crystal. This is our 10th episode of Excellent P Adventures, which
So
is like, woohoo!
excited. 10, 10,
That
10.
went quickly. I had to double check how many we were on, so I know more to come. More to come this year, so that'll be exciting. So
You too.
we've got a lot of adventures that we've been on recently.
There have been a really big one in North Carolina and an awesome one in Wisconsin, best practices.
Yep, best practices and the National P Institute, which was pretty epic. Which one shall we start with?
Should we start with Wisconsin best practices?
Yes, let's do that. So
Okay.
you presented a session, didn't you?
I did with Mary Wentland at Pride and Joy Mary on health and health teaching, healthy aptitude and assessment. And Mary Wentland is teacher in Minocqua, Wisconsin. She's amazing. And we, I did more like how you use technology as a tool, and she did like non-technology things. And we went back and forth between each and did examples of what we do. So, and how she does some things like the energy bus and how I use the book, The Energy Bus. So yes. And Miss Jo Bailey, you were overachiever and did 3.
Yeah. So I did a 3-hour session on active classrooms Core 4 Plus, and that's Wisconsin's program for, which kind of it all falls under the umbrella of Let's Move Out to the Schools. But we have Active Schools Core 4 Plus, which is, no, I really hope I don't forget anything here, but you have obviously physical education. We have before school and after school activities. We have classroom activity. We have family, home, and community as part of it. And it's basically tools and ideas for educators and classroom teachers to take away with them to implement within the school. Oh, active recess. I forgot about active recess, because that's a huge one. Often people think, oh, students can just go out and play, but even though you don't want to, adults should not be micromanaging what they're doing. They do need some sort of support structure to help them get the most out of that. So that was fun. That was a 3-hour training. The first one I'd done on full 3-hour session, but it was good to see people thinking about, okay, what can I use in my school? Where do I start? And I think one thing people are worried about, there are several components to it, but there's no rule that says you've got to jump in and do all 5 at the same time. So maybe you start off like you did last year, where you would help with active classrooms, because you made resource bags, didn't you, for your teachers for classroom activity breaks? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was at your session, and it was really great. Made me thinking, and I was thinking more toward active recess, but it was very exciting. We just had a meeting yesterday with it's called our leadership team, and each team has a representative. And one of the representatives said, like, one of our goals for the school year, get this, so excited, brain boost, brain break. That is one of our goals at school. And I didn't say it. So I went, yes.
Even better.
I was very excited. So I was at your session. It was very good. And I liked what you said about don't jump in there and try to do all of them at once.
Yeah. It can be, it's so overwhelming. And even for a classroom teacher, I think it's scary. Like you, me, and other PE teachers now, I think just movement is it's just what we do, and it doesn't worry us and it doesn't scare us. But for someone when that's out of their comfort zone, it's like, oh, this is not one more thing I can do. So yeah, any support we as movement people can help, I think is good. So yeah, I did that one, and I did 2 other sessions. I did one on solo taxonomy. So how I've used solo taxonomy last school year to improve student learning. And then the last one was Google Apps. And like often we had a little technology snafu at the beginning where certain things weren't, I was the presentation computer that was there was the only one that didn't have Google Chrome installed on it, so we were we were a little late getting started, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, at best practices, we are really lucky in Wisconsin. We have our convention, and then we have, when Joe was president, she really, we talked about, Joe brought up the fact, like, what can we do for our members and give them things? And we had our first one in like February, Hot Topics. And then we are really lucky to have best practices, which is always in the summer. So we are really lucky in Wisconsin for all the professional development.
Yeah, we are pretty spoiled with what we have. So I have a visitor. She's coming to see what's happening here. So.
Hi.
She's off to a water park today, aren't you? Yeah.
How fun.
Try and find another bag. Okay. She's busy trying to get ready, which is nice. Yeah, there's another bag in the drawer. Where? Just go look. We'll find one. Oh, bless.
Yeah, so best practices was amazing. And then 2 days later, we flew to North Carolina. Whoa. The National PE.
That was, I don't know what to say. It was just, I have my little program here. I'm going to treasure this thing.
Me too.
It was brilliant. I mean, it was, oh, look at that.
We both have ours.
No, it was, okay, I'll tell you what, I don't know how to where to start or how best to talk about it. Can you tell me, what would you say was like a huge takeaway for you or a huge highlight for you?
Well, number one, meeting everyone.
I'll put you on the spot.
Follow on Twitter, networking, number one. But there are three things that I took away. Was student choice and inquiry-based learning from Nathan Horn. Standards-based assessment learning from Sarah GH, and from Ash Casey. Right on my desk here, I have the article, the jigsaw.
Oh yes.
Yeah, those everybody was great, but those were my three big takeaways. How about you?
One of the biggest ones for me, the same as you, the jigsaw curriculum that Ash Casey presented, which was brilliant. This works out quite well because Mia just bought me a bag with a bunch of my junk in it from the National PE Institute, which included Post-its. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, how can we explain this to people who don't know what it is? So if I quickly get these out, there's an intelligence test. How do you open the bag? Okay, got it. So I'll see if I can quickly put this on a piece of paper so anyone who doesn't know what it is can get an idea of what it is. So let's say you have your class and you split them into 4 different groups. Okay, so we've got 4 different colored groups here. Okay, and then within the groups, they number themselves A, B, C, D, E. All right, so then what happens is, and I'm just putting this on, I should have, this is one of those things that you should have prepared earlier.
And people have probably heard like jigsaw. I've heard that from classroom teachers, but I've never seen it in a physical education setting before.
So then you take the A's from every group and you have them together, and the B's from every group and you have them together, and you give each letter group a different piece of information. So the context that Ash Casey presented it in was creating a new game, a tag game. And I think the A's had to come up with, oh gosh, I think it was the way people were going to be tagged.
Yes.
I think it was that. It was something on those lines. So they came up with the idea that tagging would be with a percent lightsaber. Lightsabers in Star Wars. So you would get tagged on the shoulder. And the B group had to come up with maybe if there was a safe zone that you could go into. And the C group had to come up with a way that you would move around during the tag game. So every single person, every single group had a job to do.
Yeah.
So no one person was coming up with the rules. And then what would happen is once they had got their rule, they'd go back to their color group and each person would tell them the rule and they would work together to play that game and figure out, okay, now that we've made these rules, is it working? Is it not working? Then after a period of play, they would go back to their rule group and say what they liked, if the rule was working, or if there was modifications they needed to make. So everybody was involved. And it's hard to explain, but we came up with
It was
zombie.
ours, how you moved was zombie. And it was like Star Wars, zombie, frozen tag. It was amazing.
Yes. It was brilliant. I mean, I couldn't see how we would have come up with those parameters without that sort of a structure. And like I said, everybody was engaged. So I am hugely excited to try that out with my classes this year. I think it will work well with Adventure. And I'll see if I can find some resources to post on the show notes at the end. But yeah, fantastic cooperative learning. That was brilliant. So that was a huge takeaway for me. Second one, there's so many.
So hard.
Yeah. In Ash Casey's keynote, he used a lot of research base. One of the things he did pick up on was he talked about the hidden curriculum. What are you teaching by not teaching? So, for example, if as a teacher you didn't address it when a student was derogatory to another student, isn't that what you're indirectly teaching, even though you don't mean to? I'm trying to think of some other examples that he used. But I thought that was, the things that we don't say often say more than the things that we do say, and making sure that we're conscious of that and, addressing everything as it needs to be addressed, and not thinking if I say nothing, it'll go away type thing.
Yeah.
So that was
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, Groundhog Day, exactly. Are we doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results? Because that's not going to happen.
No.
And what else? I'm looking for the program here just to remember. There was so much cool stuff. I mean, it really was great stuff. In my last one, this is from a keynote, was Joey.
Oh, yes.
The last keynote, basically, the future of phys ed. It's not linking to another subject. It's not obesity. It's not this. It is just phys ed. We are our future. And I think he hit the nail on the head here, because while we are investing in a lot of those other areas as well, we are phys ed and we have our own purpose, and we don't need to ride the coattails other areas necessarily, even though we support them.
To end the conference with Joey was brilliant, because that just, because everybody expects Joey to talk about social media and, Twitter, and his very thought-provoking, and it makes so much sense. Like, we're, physical literacy, everything is important, but we need to get back to what we're all about, physical education.
And the really nice thing is, for anyone who wasn't there, and this is how I think we first learned about it. We had a Brent Erdman, who is a former Wisconsin Health and Food president. She went to the first one and came back raving about it. But Artie Kamaya, who puts on the whole thing, does a phenomenal job. He videos the keynotes and makes them available to everybody. So even if you weren't there, there's plenty of inspiration this year's, last year's, 2013, that anyone can go and view, and it's well worth the time.
Oh, yes. So. Yes. So you could, hearing us talking how excited we are, you can see what we saw, and like you were there. And next year, Miss Jo Bailey's going to be keynote. Woo! That's going to be so awesome.
Yeah. I was trying to pick up some keynoting tips while watching them, but that's going to be But you know what? It's going to be scary, but I'm excited, and I just hope that I can do as good a job as Joey, Nathan, Ash, Jared, and Andy all did, because they were they were great. So yeah,
Also,
every time I think of something, I'm making notes.
I know Ed
But
Camp.
I did tell Joey and Nathan I would not be a keynote genius like those two are. There's not going to be fireworks popping out of the screen.
We had a little, you and Patty Castell, had a little I loved how he said it, voluntold Nathan, and we got to spend at least half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, and he went through keynote and how he does amazing. It was like, oh, that's how you do that. And it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean I'm going to back up a sec because that came out of the ed camp, the phys ed camp, which was the first ever phys ed camp. And I mean, I don't think it could have run any. I said this to the phys ed team. I don't think it could have run any more smoothly than it did.
No.
So if you don't know what an ed camp is, basically it's a conference without a schedule. So you show up at whatever time it is you show up at, and people put ideas out of what they would like to learn about or what they would like to teach. So maybe, I'd say a good example, you've done your classroom activity kits. Maybe you're like, yeah, I could share what I did with that. Anyway, within about 10 minutes, there was, how many session pictures out there? There's
a lot. Probably
20? And
30, 20?
Yes. Yeah, maybe 30. Yeah, there was a lot. And then, it was voting with feet, basically, which ones wanted the most people to go to them. And then the team kind of put, I think it was 7 or 8 sessions, the first block. Then we had a break, came back and looked at the second lot, and then 7 or 8 seconds, the second block. And the nice thing about any ed camp is that, you vote with your feet. So maybe I did put on a session, but no one's there because they decided to do somewhere else. That's fine. Then I go to the next one. Or if my session doesn't last the block of time, then that's fine too. And everyone can then choose to go somewhere else. So it was great, wasn't it?
Oh, and the Phys team, they are amazing. And they are also hosting Summit 3.0, August 15th, 24 hours of professional development. That group of young teachers, amazing people. And just to meet them, that was so amazing. All of them. I mean, we can claim one as our state. Matt Pomeroy is from Wisconsin, but they are amazing people. And yeah, it was so hard for me to pick which one I was going to go to. And I met this really amazing young man, Eddie Colville. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he, I have never heard of these races, like obstacle course races. He participates in like a Spartan race or something. I don't even know what that is. And then he came up with the idea to have these cards, and then you can use those to build your own obstacle courses. If you can use the cards in the obstacle course. And so we all got together with the equipment we had in the room, and then we built an obstacle course together. And I thought what my takeaway was from that was I could use Nathan's inquiry-based, just start out with that, putting a question by each section of the obstacle course for the students, and then give them equipment. And then like the formative assessment would be to see if they can answer the question through building that part of the obstacle course. So yeah, that was to be in the room with the other people, and we kept going back and forth on what we should do. But I really want to do that and do different obstacle courses that relate. The first one I'm going to do is on 5 components of fitness, like a pre-test, I thought. And give them equipment, and then say to see what they remember about the 5 components of fitness with a question.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I know you were on fire talking about that obstacle course session, and I think it's so current as well, with all the different types of races that are coming out now, with your Spartans, your color runs, your Tough Mudders, and that's like the new wave of things that people are getting involved in. And yeah, I think our students are starting to get more in tune to it. So if we can bring it to their level, and incorporate whatever concepts we're teaching, that's perfect. It's like a little bit of, it's not like a little bit of obstacle parkour in PE, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was like, I'm going to do this. So it was good that I was there, being a little older. And I said, we have to have modifications. So then we talked about modifications that have to be part of it for our, maybe, different kids will need different modifications. So I thought there has to be at least one modification, or two for people that couldn't do, like I did 5 push-ups instead of doing a forward roll. My days of forward roll are done. But I did the whole course, so I was proud of myself. So it was fun.
Sweet. So when do you I know I'm short on time today, but
yes.
When do you start back at school?
August 25th without kids. How about you?
I'm trying to remember. August 27th or 8th, I believe.
Yeah, we actually have 4.
Yeah, the last few days in August, and then the kids start on September the 1st.
Yeah. So we actually, they used to, you had to do 7 hours outside of school. Now they took that away. So we actually have 1 whole day to work in our classrooms, not go to all these meetings that we usually have. So it's really going to be awesome. In our school, I'm so excited. Our school district won a big mental health grant. So that is a wellness grant. And so I'm on that committee, and we're just meeting for the first time in a couple weeks. And I'm really excited about that, with focusing on everyone's mental, emotional health. So I'll keep people updated on that.
Sweet. Yeah, that's huge stuff. I think the mental health part is just, I'm glad it's getting a lot more publicity now. I think it's been neglected.
I think so too.
In society as a general, taking the, I was on a trip yesterday down to Devil's Lake, and I was chatting with our secondary director of secondary education. He was down there and talking, he was talking about PE and fitness, and I said, that's an important part of it, but so equally important, maybe even more important, is making those connections between being active in whatever shape or form, and relieving stress and overall wellness, social and emotional well-being. That is huge. And getting, getting people wanting to move in whatever shape or form that works for them, just for the sake of it, not necessarily for the sake of, exercise. Because yes, that's important. Yes, we need to get our heart rate up. Yes, we want to work our components of fitness, but it doesn't always have to be that kind of planned, okay, here's my, it can just be play. And play can be so, even, it doesn't matter, kids play, most of them have got it figured out. It's us adults that keep screwing it up. It's like, come on. I went to the park with Mia, the other day, and she rode a bike. I ran there, but I took a bag of like some toys and stuff, and I took the dial. I've been practicing my circus skills because I have to teach that this year. So I took my dial. I was playing with that, and we played some frisbee, and then we played some paddle ball, and nothing was designed, but we, some kids with the part, they wanted to join in, so we were making up games, and it was just fun. Yes, it was still moving around and being active, but the biggest thing is it was just fun, and just see them experimenting with stuff. And I was having fun trying to land the diabolo on the string, which I managed to do, which I was very, very pleased about. But yeah, that wellness in the mental health is so huge. It's gotta make a big point of making people understand it.
It's everyone everyone everywhere, but everyone in the school, everyone needs mental, emotional health. And teachers, of course, need it too, students, everybody. And building relationships, that's one of our biggest goals, is to build relationships with kids. And yeah. So I'm very
But
excited
you're
about
right,
that.
teachers. Yeah, so this can be to every teacher out there. Don't be your own worst enemy. Look after you, because if you don't look after you, you are not going to be quite as good at looking after everybody else. So you make that time. If someone wants to meet with you, a student wants to meet with you, then maybe you can walk with them while you're meeting. Say, hey, let's walk and talk while we're chatting about whatever it is we need to chat about. You know, don't try. If they want to meet you at lunchtime, same thing. If there's a way to move while doing it, do it, because that part is really important for you. Oh, sorry about that noise.
It's time.
Yes, it is. You know what? I think we should. I have to take my daughter to a water park thing, so I think we should sign off today, and then we should have another excellent adventure very soon.
I think we should too. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So many things to share. And
oh yeah,
it was great because we didn't even hear about Joe's excellent adventure on the ropes course yet. How are your bruises doing?
When I said, yes, I look like I've been beaten up for a few days by. We'll talk about that one next time. That was fun. Okay, well, I better get running, and
Yes,
we'll catch up on our next adventure very soon. And we still have more to cover on the P Institute, because there's just
we
tons.
do. Amazing.
So,
Artie Kamea, amazing man.
thank you, Artie. That was
Yes.
brilliant.
Thank you, Artie.
All
All right.
right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.